Thanks, Ann Claire. Great to be here with everyone. Let me introduce Salem on the next slide here. There we go. So we actually began 90 years ago. So we're celebrating our 90th birthday, if you will. In the early 70s, we were incorporated as Salem Distributing Company. We're experts at grinding and polishing hard brittle material. Okay, about 80% of our revenue comes from the flat glass and mirror market. So when I talk about flat glass, that would be things like your commercial residential windows, maybe your glass shower door. We produce or we sell equipment that'll make bullet resistant glass. And then we sell all the consumable supplies to grind and polish the glass. Basically, it's the razor blade effect. We sell equipment as inexpensive as $50,000 up to $1 million. And then, of course, we support our customers with the consumable supplies. Gail's going to take the next slide.
Yeah, our ESOP journey began back in 2000. Prior to that, in the early 80s, there were two primary owners, and one of them passed away. It left Bob Long as our sole owner. He was a mechanical engineer, and in around 2000, he started looking at his exit strategy, and he really did not have one. So he learned of ESOPs. We did the feasibility study. Found the tax benefit, the 1042 code where that has been mentioned, where you don't have to, or you can defer your capital gains indefinitely. So we adopted our ESOP in 2000, and very much like Westcom, the first 2 years, we contributed cash to the ESOP. In 2002, the ESOP bought 33% of the company. This was all done through a bank note. And we were profitable and enough, and really did a lot of good things, because by 2005, we had paid off the first loan, and we bought the second or remaining part of the company. Here again with a bank note. So we did not do any seller notes. There was a small percentage of management stock at that time, but we did on 03, 04, 05 is the anniversary date, and that is when Mr. Long retired. So we did end up with a new board of directors and some new management positions, along with the existing management. And in 2006, we elected S Corp status. Since then, the management stock has been repurchased, so we are 100% ESOP now, and continue to on our ESOP journey. So we're a mature ESOP, as they say.
As far as our culture, we do practice open book management. Several of the management team went to the great game of business, learned about open book management, and we feel it's really important for the employees to know what the score is. It's like going to a football game with no scoreboard. Not very exciting, quite frankly. So last year was a fantastic year for us. Gail's going to cover those numbers in a moment, but our employees get the daily sales numbers. Basically, it's an email showing what we sold in all divisions. Get that in the morning. We have huddles 1 or 2 times a month, again, talking about company performance and just giving employees updates on various things. We practice Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS. It's a great platform to run a business. All of our employees read what the heck is EOS, and all of our departments have critical metrics and measurables that we track every week. And then the Vision Traction Organizer. That's a one-page document that really is at the 30,000-foot level, showing our employees what our corporate values are, goals, 3-year goals, things like that. We do have a company bonus based on adjusted EBITDA. Paid out a nice bonus last year. And as far as succession planning, we've got 2 executives retiring at the end of the year, and I, as the CEO, will retire in June of next year. And in doing so, we started a succession plan about 3 years ago, and we had all internal promotions to fill these executives retiring.
We participate in the ESOP community heavily. We're members of the ESOP Association, the NCEO, ESCA, as well as certified employee owned. So we feel like the networking, the ESOP community is always willing to share. We attend technical type conferences, and I say ESOP companies are willing to share. You steal those best practices, and we've learned so much by attending these conferences. We do internal training, ESOP 101. We actually have go through from a very high level how the ESOP valuation is done, so the employees know what kind of effects or different things that the company does, how it affects the evaluation. And we always talk about our 401k in the same bucket as well, because the ESOP is a retirement plan, and we want them to help themselves while they're also participating in the ESOP. And our culture, I could not think of Salem now without thinking about employee ownership. It's part of our DNA at this point.
As far as success at Salem, share value has increased 333% since the ESOP came into fruition. As Gail mentioned, S Corp status in 2006 resulted in significant tax savings, of course. We've made acquisitions in 05, 19, and 23. Currently working on another one that, fingers crossed, maybe we can get closed by the end of this year. Changed our name from Salem Distributing. Wanted to get rid of the word distributing and change it to Salem Fabrication Technologies Group. As far as distributions that we paid out 1.7 million in distributions and diversifications in 2022. In 21, paid out 1.1 million, and in 2020 paid out 1.4 million. So pretty consistent distributions and diversifications year on year. Last 2 years have been the best years in our company history. And we're very active in the Carolinas chapter, named 4 different years as the chapter company of the year.
All right.
I have just one other thing to mention. And Claire asked us if we had any employee stories. Just real quick, we have one employee who retired and was able to buy beach property, and that's not real cheap, guys. Another employee retired and was able to open his own fly rod business.
Yeah,
and
these are expensive fly rods too. You're talking over $1,000 a piece. So
Wow.
it was a hobby that he's turned into a business. We currently have an employee who, with part of his diversification money this year, is building a pool. He said it's been his wife's lifelong wish to have a pool in her backyard, and he's doing that with part of his ESOP diversification. And then lastly, I'd like to just mention I received a telephone call today from an ex-employee who is no longer with Salem, and he's currently working at another company as a pool company, speaking of pools. And he said the owner is looking to retire, and he called me to find out how he could get more information for his owner in regards to ESOPs. He said the ESOP at Salem had a big impact on him and on his life, and he wants to share that information with this owner that he's currently working with.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'd love to hear these stories of employees whose lives are changed through being part of the ESOP.